7th grade and welcome back. Today we're starting part 2 to lesson 6.6, how to write a linear function in slope-intercept form. So right now I'm on the bottom of page textbook 167, okay? So I'm doing numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8 with you. So it says, write each equation in slope-intercept form, then use the slope and the y-intercept to graph the equations. This is a two-part question. So the first thing we need to do is write this in slope-intercept form. So to do that, we need to set this equation to y equals, okay? So we're basically essentially solving for y here. Alright, so to do that, first of all, I want you to notice this is in standard form. X divided by 3 minus 2y equals negative 3. X divided by 3, you guys, or x over 3 is the same as 1x over 3, which can also be written as 1/3 x. See it? So that's 1/3 x minus 2y. Sorry for the glare. I don't know why it's like extra glary today. Okay, I don't think that's a word. Equals negative 3. Alright, so 1/3 x minus 2y equals negative 3. Now I need to take 1/3 x and bring it to the other side. So to do that, I add its opposite, right? So if this is positive 1/3 x, right, I'm making it negative 1/3 x to both sides. Or I'm taking this term and jumping the wall and making it negative. Either way, alright, I do negative 1/3 x to both sides. These cancel. So I'm left with negative. Don't forget this negative belongs with 2y. Alright, negative 2y equals, and you always put the term with x first. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 1/3 x minus 3. See it? So now I'm here. Okay, now I have to, right, this is negative 2 times y. I have to divide every single term by negative 2, because I want y by itself. So by dividing by negative 2 divided by negative 2 gives me 1y. That's what I want, right? I'm leaving y behind. I just want to get rid of this negative 2. Whenever I multiply or divide, I have to multiply and divide every term by that number. So if this is negative 2 times y, I divide by negative 2. And then I also have to divide this term by negative 2 and this term by negative 2. Okay? This cancels. So now I'm going to rewrite this equation. So I have y, see that? There we go. Y equals negative 1/3 divided by negative 2. So the first thing I want you to do here, a negative divided by a negative is going to give me positive some number x, right? The issue here is 1/3 divided by 2, right? You cannot divide, you can't have like a fraction on top divided by some number, right? So over to the side, 1/3 divided by 2. To fix this, right, I'm going to make 2 a fraction. Because we always divide fraction to fraction and multiply fraction to fraction. So again, I took 2 and I just put 1 under it. 2 divided by 1 is the same as just 2. So now I have 1/3 divided by 2 over 1. I cannot divide a fraction, so I'm going to change this to multiplication and then multiply by the reciprocal. Remember we learned that? So you change 1/3 divided by 2 over 1. I'm going to change division to multiplication. And then I'm going to switch 2 over 1 to 1 over 2. So then this here, you guys, is what I multiplied. So again, I change division to multiplication and flip my bottom number. So if my bottom number is 2 over 1, I make it 1 over 2. I multiply by the reciprocal, it's called. Then I just multiply straight across. 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 2 is 6. So this gives me 1/6x. Okay, and then negative 3 divided by negative 2 gives me positive 3 over 2. 3 over 2 is the same as what? Half of 3 is what? 1.5. Okay, so you can write it either way. You can do positive 3 over 2. You can do positive 1.5. Okay? And this here would be your final answer. Okay, so now that I have my answer in slope-intercept form, I now have to graph this. So I'm just going to pause and switch to graphing paper, okay? So hold on 1 minute. Okay, so the name of this line in slope-intercept form is y equals 1/6x plus 1.5. Okay, so now that I have it in slope-intercept form, you guys, I can use the slope, which is 1/6. So my slope is m. That's 1/6, right? And then I can use my y-intercept, which is b. B and y-intercept mean the same thing. My y-intercept is this last number here, so it's positive 1.5. I can use my slope and my y-intercept to graph this line. Those are the 2 points that I need to graph this line, or I should say the 2 points of information. So my y-intercept is 1.5. I'm going to start at 0, 0 and find 1.5. So each of these increments are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like we normally would have on graph paper. So I'm going to go up 1.5, and that lands me here. That's my y-intercept. Now I'm going to use this y-intercept, okay, to come up with my second point using my slope. So I use my slope from my y-intercept to come up with my second point. So my slope is 1 over 6. So that's up 1, forward 6 for rise over run. Positive 1, positive 6. So from here I go, I'm going to use it in green so you can see. From here I go up 1, which lands me here. And then I go forward 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this here is my second point now. So I use my y-intercept and then my slope to find my second point. And now I'm going to connect this with a straight edge. So hopefully you have a ruler. If you don't, you can use like the edge of a note card or the edge of a piece of paper, either way. And draw my line. Okay. I missed a little bit, but whatever, close enough. Okay, so again, this would be my line for y equals 1, 6x plus 1.5. I asked you to name this line. It's right here. That's the name of the line. I always write it at the top. That's also my function. Okay, y equals 1, 6x plus 1.5. Okay, my next example is number 6 on page 167 at the bottom. Okay, this says 3y minus 1/2 x equals negative 10. So the first thing I want you to do is to put this into slope-intercept form. Okay, so to do that, I need to write this as y equals mx plus b. That is slope-intercept form. You guys have to have that memorized. Okay, y equals mx plus b. To write this in slope-intercept form, I need to get y by itself. So here I have 3y minus 1/2 x on this side of the equal sign. So what's the issue here? I have negative 1/2 x. I need to bring that to the other side. So if it's negative 1/2 x, I'm going to add 1/2 x to both sides. Okay, when I do that, these two cancel. That's what I want. I'm going to rewrite it left to right. So 3y equals, right? And then I have negative 10 and positive 1/2 x. I want to write the term with x first. So positive 1/2 x, and then I have negative 10. Okay, now I'm going to divide every term by 3 because I want y by itself. So 3 times y, divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. This cancels. Now I get y equals 1/2 divided by 3. So over to the side, I'm going to do 1/2. Can you guys see that? 1/2 divided by 3. Whenever I multiply or divide a fraction, it has to be fraction to fraction. So 3 is going to go over 1. I cannot divide a fraction, so I change my division to multiplication and flip my bottom fraction to its reciprocal. This here is what I multiply. So now I have same slope as the last one. That's weird. Okay, so I have 1, 6x here, and then negative 10 divided by 3. Negative divided by a positive gives me negative. Okay, 3 goes into 10 how many times? 3 times. So I have 3 with 1 left over, so I have negative 3 1/3. Hopefully they're giving you guys these ones. Bizarre. Okay, so this here is my answer. This is slope-intercept form. Now I need to graph this. I'm not making this easy for you guys, but okay. Not making it easy, but we're going to rise to the challenge. Okay, so I have negative 3 1/3. You guys, to graph this, right, to graph a third, you're going to be estimating here. Okay, so negative 3 1/3 is my y-intercept. See it? That's my b value here. So I'm going to go down 3 1/3. So 1, 2, 3. It's about here, right? If you break that up into thirds, my math is so thick it like takes up the whole thing. But you're going down negative 3 1/3, so approximately here. From this point, we're going to use our slope to find our second point, because you need 2 points to graph a line. So for my y-intercept, I'm going to go up 1, forward 6. My slope is 1 over 6, rise over run. My top number is my rise. So that tells me up 1 here, positive 1. Right, so I'm going to start here and go up 1. Do that in green. Right, up 1, and then forward 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that lands me here, about. Okay? And then we're going to use a straight edge to connect this. Alright, if you guys don't have graph paper at home, just do the best you can. Alright, use line paper, whatever you need to do. If you want to print some offline, if you have a printer, you can do that. Just you can just go to Google or whatever and Google images and type in coordinate plane, and you'll find tons of coordinate planes that you can copy and paste into a Word document. That's how I usually do it, okay? For you guys at school. And you can just print them that way. But whatever works for you, just do the best you can. Okay, problem number 7 on the bottom of page 167 says 5x plus y equals -2. Again, you guys, I'm just writing this in slope-intercept form. So when I look here, here's my equal sign, right in that glare. I have 5x plus y. For this one, I want x on the other side, so I subtract 5x from both sides, or I jump the wall and make it negative. When I simplify, these cancel. I get positive y equals, always write the term with x first. That's your slope term. So negative 5x, and I'm left with -2. See it? -2, negative 5x. I just rewrote it here. This is now in slope-intercept form. Y equals negative 5x minus 2. Now I need to graph this. Okay, to graph this line, again, the name of the line is y equals negative 5x minus 2. All of these are going to be increments of 1 for me, okay? There we go. Okay, coordinate plane. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my y-intercept to graph my first point. So -2. So I'm going to go down my y-axis and find -2, which is here. That's my y-intercept. That's also my first point. Okay. Now I'm going to use my slope to find my second point. So my slope is -5. You guys always put a slope into fraction form. Okay. If it's a whole number, say it's 3.5, you'd rewrite it as an improper fraction, but you always want a number over a number, so it's rise over run. Okay, numerator over denominator. So here I have -5. I'm going to put that over 1. That's my rise over run. So my slope is -5 over 1. -5 tells me, I'm just going to switch this down. -5 tells me I go down 5 first, and then +1 tells me forward 1. So from this point, I go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I go forward 1. So this here, you guys, is my new location. Look at it as like your slope is bringing you to your next point on your line. So if I go down 5, forward 1, that lands me right here. Now I'm just going to connect this with a straight edge. Okay? And so again, this line graphed here is named y equals -5x minus 2 in slope-intercept form. Okay, so that's going to be it for today. Actually, wait, there's one more. We should probably do it real quick. Let's see. Oh, this is actually about to time out, you guys. I only have 15 minutes per, session, you know what I mean? So I think that's it for today. If at any point you guys have questions, don't forget that you can go back in this video. You can rewind it to any point that you're having trouble with and listen to me again. I know you're probably sick of hearing my voice. It is what it is. Sorry, guys. If you're bored with it, though, you're welcome to go onto the internet and look up, say, how to write the name of a line in slope-intercept form, or how to graph a line in slope-intercept form. You can look at that up if you want to hear someone else talk for once. But I just want you guys to know one thing. I love you. And I miss you a lot. You have no idea. I miss you guys. I love you guys. And hopefully we'll see each other again soon, okay? I'll have to post another video. Oh, and the other thing is, LMS isn't allowing us to upload any more lengthy videos. Lengthy meaning if they're more than a minute, it won't let us upload them. So I started a YouTube channel. This is kind of interesting. I am officially a YouTuber. So what I'm going to do is post these links, okay, to a YouTube channel. So you'll see in LMS now that there'll be a hyperlink to each of these videos, okay? So I love you guys, and John 3:16. That's like my verse right now, okay? I've been witnessing to a lot of my unsaved family. I hope you guys are maybe doing the same, right? Just trying to shed God's light and God's love during this crazy time. Staying in prayer, staying close to Him, taking this one day at a time, you guys. That is key. One day at a time. You're all doing great in math. All right, so keep up the good work and have a fabulous day. All right, bye.